couple of articles about an entrepreneur. Maybe some of you have researched about the advantages, the disadvantages of being one. So I'm here right now to tell you exactly what I've gone through. If those disadvantages or advantages is true, so almost maybe 80% to 90% are true, and some of those I haven't yet. Okay, to start with, let me expound my experience about being an OFW in the Cayman Islands. I went to the Cayman Islands. Cayman Islands is in the Caribbean. It's just a very, very small island. It's like 264 square miles or square kilometers, sorry. So just imagine, 264 square kilometers. Negros Island is 13,300 square kilometers. So how many times is that, right? Smaller than Negros Island. Okay, so just imagine. And the Cayman Islands is one of the top five most expensive place to live in. This is the Cayman Islands. It is where a lot of offshore banks are located. It's almost 111 banks in the Cayman Islands. And there's a lot of celebrities properties in the Cayman Islands. Even Facebook, Google have accounts, bank accounts offshore in the Cayman Islands. Why? Because Cayman Islands have no tax. Okay, Cayman Islands has neutrality over finance. Okay, so there's no tax. Even if you buy house there, there's no tax. Okay, so I don't want to tackle about taxes in the I'm just telling you the background that I have in there and the vast opportunity I have when I went there to the Cayman Islands. All right, so that's the reason why you have Joe have mentioned about those relative experiences for almost 10 years. I've been in construction business, automotive service advisor, and at the same time, propane industry. Those experiences taught me a lot. Okay, and not only taught me a lot, but it gives me financial freedom. The pay is good, everything is paying so well because, of course, those companies are big. And what are the things that made me say, okay, I will stop being an OFW. I will give this up. I wanted to start my own business. Okay, so before doing that, of course, I did my research. And as I have said, we will, of course, know what is an entrepreneur is. Okay, so an entrepreneur is an individual who creates a new business, bearing most of the risk and enjoying the rewards. When you say bearing most of the risk, there's a lot of risk involved when you start a business. First of all, you are not sure if you're going to succeed or not. You're not sure if this product will click. You're not sure if the venture is applicable at this point in time where technology is advancing every now and then, almost every day. And of course, there's a lot of financial risk in line because you are investing money, not only financial, but your time, effort, everything. Okay, so having said that, entrepreneurship that proves to be successful in taking on the risk of creating a startup is rewarded with profits, fame, and continuous growth opportunities. This is a perfect for me, having that capital in hand during that time before I started. This is like a catching description that I've read so far that tells me to, okay, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. But before that, my plans is really to become a certified management accountant, because to become a certified management accountant, because I am a management accountant graduate, you need to have at least 10 years of experience, all right? And you have to be a member of a specific certified management accountant organization, which is in the US, Canada, Australia. And my goal is really to become a CMA. But why I recruited to become an entrepreneur instead of going to my first goal to become a CMA or management accountant with a license. Why did I push through on that? Um, First of all, security. Because
Uh, Pao,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt you. Are you trying to share your screen because you're not seeing it yet?
Oh yeah, I did. Wait.
I'm sorry about that. We just noticed it's not moving, so we thought to call your attention.
Where am I now? I'm trying to click on the menus. I can't find. Oh, here it is. Sorry. Can you see it?
You're still not seeing it. Let me see if I.
All right, what about
There
now?
you go. Yeah, we're seeing it now.
Okay. Um, what about now? Can you see it?
See, we can see it. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So, yeah, as I've been talking a while ago, this is indeed the perfect. Okay. So I have this goal in mind, this option A, that I really, really wanted to achieve. And I've been trying my best to gain a lot of experience. If you have noticed, those experiences are all financial experiences. And some of those are in line, although in construction, but also in line with finance because of this goal. All right. So why did I stop for 10 years and then wanted to become an entrepreneur? What is it in there becoming an entrepreneur than becoming CMA, a certified management accountant, an economist, and be hired by a good company or be a part of an organization or something like that. So what triggers me? There's a lot of things in my life that triggers me to become an entrepreneur. So one of those is, first of all, when the pandemic hits. All right. So it's not hindi naman siguro bago sa lahat, no? That the effect of pandemic globally is very, very strong. All right. So there's a lot of people, not only a lot of people who died, a lot of businesses was closed. And even if you have this position in a certain company, you are still not considered an asset. All right. They can still let you go. There's a chance that they will let you go unless otherwise you are a CEO or CFO or something like that, but or a staff with big responsibilities or something like that. But that is one eye opener for me of trying to be an entrepreneur. First is the pandemic. So during the pandemic, in the Cayman Islands, and we're talking about the Cayman Islands, almost of the big banks, big companies closed. Um, I have friends who are managers in the banks. Friends because I know them. Friends because I've been doing a side job with them. What they mean by side job is because I'm trying to help them do their financials. Managers in construction business, our competitors, the managers that I've known there, or project managers or managers, something like that, they tried to get in touch with me, knowing that I have a finance degree and an economics degree, and they tried to ask me about certain things that might help them financially on how to grow their business. So those are my side jobs. So I have employment in the Cayman Islands, but I have side jobs with friends that I know, and I'm trying to help them. All right, so financially, in a financial aspect of their business. So that's what I've been doing. So even though I have a salary here, I still have a side income with those people who wanted ask for my help professionally about their finance problem. So having said that, when the pandemic hits, a lot has changed. Okay, so during that time, I was working with Home Gas Limited as a supervisor, and we work in a skeleton-based setting, which means half of the employee will work home and half will work in the office. I'm so lucky to be part of Home Gas because Home Gas don't want to lay off people. I'm just so lucky. But my parents were also working in the Cayman Islands. My fiance, who is also working in the Cayman Islands during that time, and my brother, they lost their job. They don't have a job for like 4 months or 4 to 5 months. So I have to carry the burden. All right, I have to carry the burden of rent, paying the utilities, water, electricity during the pandemic. All right, I have to carry the finances, our groceries, everything. But since we are not, the company is still not letting any of our employees go, we're still receiving our salary full. And since the pandemic hit, those people that have worked in the sidelines stopped asking me for help because, of course, they don't have a work for me during that time. So um, during the pandemic, there's a lot of scarcity or scarce products that arise. All right, so there's a lot of mass that needs to be delivered in the Cayman Islands, alcohol, any other stuff like um, toilet papers or paper towels, sprays, disinfectant sprays. Those are the things that is badly needed in the Cayman Islands. So I find an opportunity during that time. So what happened? My mom have this sewing machine, right? So we made a mask. So that is my first time, honestly, to be involved in helping making a product and selling it to other people who needs masks. Because there are a lot of companies in the Cayman Islands who cannot buy face masks or yeah mask. All right, so even though it is like a handmade mask, they're buying it. They're buying it for like $5. So your capital there is like less than $1. So we sell it for $3.50 or $5. We made an income out of it for 3 months. And I know also some of you might, maybe some of you also experienced that selling mask to your friends or people, during that time because it's really rampant selling masks. Of course, we cannot sell alcohol because we don't have specific tools to create an alcohol, right? So those are the things that we made to go through our daily lives during the pandemic. Okay, so me and my fiance have talked about um, our future. So we have 3 children right now. Um, we we talked um, very seriously about our future, and of course, having experienced this pandemic or the pandemic during that time, 2020, really very hard for us to survive if I am the only one working. So we have decided to, what if we create a business? What if we do a business? But I told her it's pandemic. There's a great possibility that it will fail because everybody's not buying anything right now. Everybody is just alcohol or sanitary products and everything like that. What kind of business are we gonna do? So I tried to research. I tried to research something that can make a business out of. Having said that, I still have money in my stocks in called financial. So I'm not only working as an OFW during that time. I'm also investing in stocks, which I would suggest that you would do so at an early age. Okay, so I have an account in called financial. I created an account of for my fiance as well. So we both have an account during that time. And then since the pandemic, the stocks suddenly went down their value. So I need to take out and withdraw my funds to make sure that I will not lose any amount of it. Okay, so I withdraw my stocks and I sold my stocks and I withdraw my money, and that money was used was used to capital this specific business that I have in mind. So, having said that, I try to research first before doing. So, the first thing that I did is I researched the advantages and the disadvantages of being an entrepreneur. So, first, let's talk about the advantages that I've collated, right? So, one of the oh, no, one of the advantages is the opportunity to find genuine growth. All right. So, what do you mean by that? Pursue a business or a certain thing in life, and if you work hard enough, if you have a passion and drive to do that specific work, of course, the opportunity of growth is through the roof. Okay, so that is one thing that I have experienced in my meat shop. All right, so um, first thing, I talked to my brother before doing the meat shop. I talked to my brother that, hey, do you have a job right now? And he said, no, we don't have a job because it's pandemic. Our company closed and all that. So I told him that, what if we do a business? And he said, what business are we gonna do? It's pandemic. A lot of people will not. A lot of business right now is closing. You are opening a business during the pandemic, and I laughed about it. And then he said, it's not a easy thing to do a business during this time pandemic. So that is something that I've seen, but I talked to my brother and I told him I have a capital, I have the money, um, I can finance everything. All you have to do is to find a location. I have conceptualized everything. Find a location, find um, uh, the equipments, and he asked me, what kind of business is that? And told him, a meat shop. And he said, what? A meat shop? I don't have any experience about meat shop. And I told him, I know. So this is a story where the two siblings is talking about business for the first time in our lives. So this is the first time that I talked to my brother about business. And the business that I'm talking to him is he don't have any idea of doing so. And plus, it is pandemic, right? So see the factors that would hinder someone to create an opportunity in a specific period of time. So that's pandemic. So next is more independence when working. So that is one thing that I've read before that tells me to or give me a drive to become an entrepreneur. So let's continue with the opportunity or the advantage, the ability to learn, of course. This is one thing that I've talked to my brother about. Any business that you want to pursue, and if you have the passion, and if you have the skill or talent, all right, you can learn anything about specific business. I told him you can make mistakes a lot of time. We have a lot of competitors there in Bacolod that you can scout. All right. So he did his part. He scouted. He asked the people who were selling in the supermarket, in the marketplace, in the palapala, or what we call that in Negros. I forgot the term. Um, anyway, so he went out okay, and try to learn as much as you can about the meat industry and the meat shop. So he went to the meat shop. He pretends to be a customer. He asks prices. He asks anything that he can ask to learn about this business. He even asked the manugiwa, all right, the butcher. How do you do this? How do you make this? How do you make the cut and everything? That's the thing that I told my brother to do before we endeavor to the business, because during that time I'm still in the Cayman Islands. He is in Bacolod without job. So since he don't have a job, I gave him a job to do those things. All right. So fourth, have more excitement and learnings in life. And during this time, my brother was so excited almost every day to go out and go to Bacolod, Silay, Talisay. He went to Victorias. He went as far as San Carlos, and he just wanted to look for meat shops in Negros. So that's what he did. So you can take, okay, so here's the thing. You can take that vacation you've always wanted to have. All right. I'm not yet in this part. Okay. Just to be clear. All right. So this is where you'll have the freedom, right? Control your time if you have already a working system in place, all right? So you're successful, all right? So after the hardships, after those sleepless nights, and after those um, days and problems and issues that you'll encounter every day in your business, if you overcome those and you have created a system that is working not only for you, for your employees, and for your um, um, customers, you will attain this advantage. All right. So having said that, what are the disadvantages of being an entrepreneur? Okay. First is you must be a natural leader to find success in this field. All right. So any because there's no one directing your every move, right? Every day in your business. It is up to you to ensure the quality and the quantity of work meets your income expectation. So what do you mean by that? So if you want to operate, for example, in a month, um, and you have these expenses in line, right? So you have this expense. You also need to have an income to cover these expenses. So what are those things that you need to do for you to be able to meet that income at the end of the month? And that's a monthly basis. So that falls in our feasibility study that I've done um, during that time. I did a feasibility study about meat shop, and I used my brother to scout and gather information about meat shop, and he relayed to me the things that I wanted to know to put in my feasibility study. Right. So if it is really feasible or not. Okay. Second, you won't have flexible hours all the time. All right. So this second thing, you won't have flexible hours all the time. It contradicts to the number five. All right. So as you have read a while ago, you will have number five is you can take that vacation you always wanted to have. Right. So it contradicts. But this number two is on the process, in your learning process, in your journey. I'm not yet on that specific stage of number five. I'm not yet there. Okay. So I'm working on that. So you won't have flexible hours all the time. So when I went back to Bacolod, all right, so I went to the Philippines. I came back to the Philippines last year, and I was able to to see the meat shop for the first time. Okay, so before I continue with that story, I will have first to continue with this the list of disadvantage. Okay, so you won't have flexible hours all the time. So of course, I worked in the meat shop during that time when I went back, and I tell you guys, it's very, very, very hard. Of course, because I'm learning, and then my brother's just making fun of me or laughing at me because, of course, he was able to keep the business amidst the pandemic. We started on March 2020. We started September of 2020. And then when I came back after a year, the meat shop is still there. So even though there's a pandemic, he was able to learn. He was able to adapt. He was able to keep the business afloat during that time. We don't have enough income during that time because, of course, he was still learning along the way. Okay, so there's a learning process on the first year of our operations. Okay, so you won't earn much in the first year or more until you reach your ROI, the return on investment. So to tell you honestly, I've the investment that I've invested in our business is almost like 300 to 400,000. Okay, so you can also start smaller. All right, I can see that there's a lot of meat shops out there that start small with just a capital of 10,000. That's feasible. That's very feasible enough. But I am looking for a brand. I have a long-term goal. That's the reason why I invested so much with this meat shop, because I have a goal, a long-term goal. All right. So next, you will experience more stress than you can ever remember. And that's true. I've been working in the Cayman Islands for 10 years, and I've been working in the meat shop for like 3 months, and I've been stressed. I experienced a lot of stress almost single day. Why is that? Because it's different, right? The companies that I worked before, they have a systems in place. They have everything laid out for you. All you have to do is just do a specific job on your department. There's a department for this, there's a department for that. In my business, you will be the accounting department, you will be the operations department, you will be the sourcing department, you will be the part of all the things that is needed to make the business work. So you need to have those experience. I'm just so lucky, maybe because in my experience in the Cayman Islands, I have worked in some of those departments. Help me a little in my meat shop business. Okay, so next, you are always scrutinized by your customers. That's right. Since I have a meat shop, it is food, right? So sanitary is very important. So I have this experience. One of my butchers, right? My meat shop, I set it up as nicely as we could, as clean as we could. But you will always have this employee that will make your customers uneasy. All right. So when he is serving the customers, he's always coughing. He don't have a face mask. He have cigarettes on, and you're serving food. You're serving meat. So that is one bad customer review that I've received, and it was unlucky that those customers are my friends. I referred them to go to my meat shop and buy, and then they gave me an honest feedback, and that is the feedback that I received. So we gave that employee a reminder. Okay, so we reminded him. We did not terminate him in an instant. We just reminded him. Okay, so this specific employee, this butcher, and my brother had an argument. All right, this is a true to life story where this butcher, right, he told my brother that he will kill him if he will fire this butcher. So that's a grave threat, right? So you're not only dealing with people, you're not only dealing with customers, you're also dealing with your employees. You have to make sure that your employees have a good background, that they are not criminals or something like that. You have to do that to make sure that you are safe or something like that. So when my brother told me that, I immediately take action. All right. So we reported it to the police officers. We made a blatter report. We terminated the person, and that's it. We paid him the amount that he wanted, because what you want in that specific instance is to make sure to de-escalate the issue. All right. So if you piss that person off, who knows what his background is before being a butcher? He's been a butcher for all of his life, like for 40 years, 35 years. So if he kills your brother, then what's next? So those are the things that we have experienced in my meat shop. The people. So if you're not good with people, they are, because they are your frontliners, then your business would likely be failed. Okay, so what I did, I talked to this person, right? I talked to this person. I was in the Cayman Islands. I talked to him in a civil way, and I asked him what he wants. He just wants money, and that's it. I just give him the money that he wants. I asked him that we will still do the blotter report just to make sure, and he said, "Okay, sir, that's fine." And he told me that he will not touch my brother ever again. Okay, so those are the things that I've done. All right. So I'm not sure if you will be in that situation. What will be, right? So this is my experience. So it might be true to other meat shop owners that they have these butchers that are hard-headed. So it depends on how they manage their people, not only in meat shop, but any other businesses that you want to build in the future. You must know how to deal with people, most especially with your employees, because they are the ones who faces the customers. Okay. So six, you may discover financial instability in the future. So yes, I've experienced that because I'm trying to find loans. All right. So even though I have inputted a lot, certain investment in my business, but I wanted to have a farm, wanted to have a branch. Those are my long-term goals. So I'm trying to find a way to get a loan from the banking institutions or any other sources. So those are the things that I've experienced: instability of financial instability. So meaning the loans is not always available. All right. So there's a lot of paperwork, a lot of things that needs to be done for you to be able to get a loan. Okay. Next is you will encounter an industry backslash with some ideas. What do you mean by that? Okay, so I've mentioned a while ago that customer is very important, right, in our business. So if this backslash is a perfect example of that customer that gave me a comment with my business, with a specific employee, with his employee spitting outside the meat shop. So that's unsanitary. Okay, so those are the backslash from customers, those negative feedbacks. Okay, so next is the encounters with the government offices. Okay, so later on in this slide, I will show you the timeline of my business and how long did we get the permits and the issues with the government in our country is that it's really, really hard and it's very, very long to process a certain permit. Okay, unless otherwise you have backers or backups inside, and if you go to the fixers, it will just make things a lot worse. Okay, so next, you have days when it feels like you never leave work. That's true. So we open at as early as 5, all right, and we close at 7 in the evening. But after 7, we still stayed there and still work. Why? Because we have to make sure that the meat is fresh. We have to make sure that we have a pigs ready for the next day. And there's those are the things that will make you feel that I'll just leave here. I'll just live here in the meat shop for another day. Okay, so those are the disadvantage. So next is you can fall flat on your face at any time. Okay, what do you mean by that? So some startup, okay, so other, not all startups, for example, if there's 20 startups, not all startups is going to succeed. That's the truth, right? So 3 out of 5 businesses. This is a study from Harvard University. Okay, I think this is visible only in the U.S., but I don't have any study in the Philippine setting. But according to Harvard's Business School, 3 out of 5 startups fail. So it is also one thing that make me hesitant to start the business. Okay, so why did I push through? Okay, so this is the main reason why I pushed through the meat shop business. All right, so when I conceptualized the business, and I already did the research. My brother did the hard work. I have all the research. I have made the feasibility study about this. And even though there's a lot of competitors in that specific area, established and big businesses, why did I push through? What did I see that others did not see that encourages me to create this meat shop business? All right. So that is not a short-term goal. That is a long-term goal. Okay. That is the long-term goal that I have established to make my business last. All right. So let me show you. Can you see this, guys? Can you see this, Joe?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yes.
Yeah. So the CTL Meatshop timeline. So during April 2020, dilemma, uncertainty of pandemic. So this is what I was telling you a while ago, right? So on May 2020, a business ideas conceptualization. So CTL Meatshop was conceptualized on May 2020, okay? And on June, the business name was, oh, sorry, it's repeatedly done because it's still on the conceptualization stage during that time. Okay, and July 2020, business location mapping. This is the reason why we choose Villamonte, because first of all, Villamonte is accessible. There's a lot of foot traffic, all right, heavy traffic of people. Every time, I think Villamonte is like a center of Bacolod City where people knows where Villamonte is. And when we visited Villamonte, there's one specific uh, thing that I told my brother that is the right place for the meat shop. Why? Because it is near the Villamonte Public Market, which is of course a competitor. All right, it is in front or near the Villamonte. What do you call this one? Offices of the politicians. Okay. Also, one thing good in Villamonte is that people there always stays to have a coffee. All right. So if you have many people from all different parts of Bacolod or Negros who stays there just to have coffee, there's a big chance they will see your business. And if they're doing that almost every day, and if they're doing that every day, and every day they see your meat shop, and one thing or another, it will tatatak yan sa isip nila. All right. So I'm not saying that Villamonte is a very, very good place. I'm just saying that Villamonte is a place is conducive to have a meat shop, specifically meat shop, because of the diverse businesses that is in there in Villamonte. Okay, so July, and in August we try to acquire appliances that the business needs. All right, so we order the freezers, we order anyway, barangay hall. That's the term that I've been looking for. We are in front of barangay hall of Villamonte. So going back, August, we acquired the appliances. Since we have the capital, it is just easy for us to acquire the things that we need for the business. All right. So the following month, right, September, in first week of September, we acquired permits, licenses, barangay permit, sanitary permit, safety inspection certificate, and the certificate. All right, so that's in the middle of September. And at the end of September, September 30th, today's there is we open the meat shop. All right, so the grand opening of the meat shop. So you can see the year 2020 during the pandemic. These are the things that we did during that time. So of course, there's a dilemma, there's a problem, there's a pandemic, there's uncertainty of the future. You might think what you want to do to make sure that in the future you'll have sustainability. Okay, so that is one driving force for me to be able to create this business. Next, 2021, the following year, right? We continued full business operations, and March 2021, BIR receipts application date. So we apply for a BIR application. So what do you mean by that? If you have a business, you need to have a BIR receipt. All right. We didn't know this because during that time, my brother don't know anything yet about businesses. All right. So good thing the owner of the place where we rent, all right, where the meat shop is located, she is good enough to say that you might need to have a BIR receipt because sometimes, all right, there are BIR representatives roaming around Bacolod and they're checking if you have BIR receipts. Okay, the meaning of BIR receipts is we have this receipt from the BIR and we have a number in there, like a tracking number on each receipt. So that's the thing, that's the receipt you use every time you have a sale, okay? Because they track your tax, because in the BIR receipts, there's a tax in there, all right? So that's the reason why we need to apply for a BIR receipts. We can also don't want to do that if we are just a very, very small business. But what I'm looking after is to create a brand, is to create something, all right? A meat shop that's for people, para sa masa, okay? And on June 2021, the scheduled release of our mayor's permit. So we apply that, I think, 3 months before, and then we received that in June. So that's almost 3 months of processing. So that's what I told you a while ago, that one of the disadvantages of having a business is you're dealing with the government agencies to have those permits. All right. So November 2021, BIR receipts have been received after 8 months from application date. All right. So imagine, right? Imagine how long it took for us to be able to have that BIR receipts. Okay, so that's after 8 months. So that is very, very hard for us, for a small business enterprise, because of course we don't have a backer, we don't have people that work in the government that can do this paperwork for us. You have to go in the line, wait for your turn, and wait for their people to do their job for you to be able to receive your BIR receipts. Okay, so I've been calling almost like a week, every single week. I call the BIR in Bacolod to get an update with our BIR receipts. Because there's one instance that there's one BIR representative who is roaming around Bacolod, and one's in Villamonte. We have one customer who asked us that you don't have BIR receipt because we gave him a normal receipt that we bought in the supermarket, right? So I told him, no, we don't have. And he told me that you need to have a BIR receipts because you might be included in the tax map. And then if you can't provide them with the BIR receipts, your business might be closed. So this is the most important thing. And this is the most ridiculous thing in the Philippines, all right? So it took them almost a year to process our receipts. And example, if they go and you're one of the businesses that is scheduled to be tax mapped during that time, and you don't have that, even if you say, oh, we already applied for it, you don't have a receipt, then you'll be given a couple of months to secure the receipts. That's what we're right? So that is one of the delays that we had during our 2021. Next is bottlenecks and the dilemmas. The most common bottlenecks and dilemmas of having a meat shop. First is the meat supply and the price fluctuation affecting the demand of your product. Of course, having said that there's a meat supply problem, okay, because there are suppliers who don't want to sell their pigs. There are suppliers that demands a lot of a big amount of price for their pigs, and having said that, it will affect your price in your meat shop. So having having known these specific problems, these dilemmas and bottlenecks, what are the things that I need to do for me to be able to sustain my business? All right. So these are my long-term business goals. Okay. First is the CTL farm. We are planning to make a farm. This is the main reason why I stress for sustainability. In any business venture, you always have to find a way to sustain the business. Whatever business you have, whatever product you sell, you have to have sustainability. For example, propane industry. I work with propane company. What are the things that will sustain the propane company? You need to have propane. If you buy propane from middlemen, all right. For example, if they sell propane for $2 a gallon, all right. So you have to mark it up for you to be able to have an income. So you will sell it for like $3 a gallon. So if you have a propane farm, okay, for example, if you're making your own propane, all right, or if you have a direct contact with a propane farm or propane companies, you can get the propane very cheap. In my experience in the Cayman Islands, we buy every 2 months, we buy 600,000 gallons of propane at 30 cents per gallon, all right? And when we buy it, all right, we sell it at around $3.49. So imagine we bought it for 30 cents and we sell it for 3.49 cents. So that's a lot of income for the propane industries, for our propane company. So that's one thing that I've learned in the Cayman Islands. Right? Farm. I need to have a field for me to be able to because if you have farm, you can create another business line, right? I can have a CTL restaurant in the future because I have sustainability. I can play around business ideas, rotating with pigs. Okay, so I need to have as well a CTL private slaughterhouse because slaughterhouse right now, one pig will cost you like 300 to 400 per pig for them to be able to slaughter it. Okay, so that's 300 per pig. Let's say, for example, the very cheap one. Okay, but if you have a and a licensed slaughterhouse, of course, you need to have again you have to deal with the government agencies to have this private slaughterhouse license um, to your business. Okay, so next, my long-term goal is to have a branch by the end of 2022. All right, so I already have like two, two two friends who are very interested, okay, having a branch of CTL where they will carry my brand, CTL Meatshop brand, but we will supply the meat and the training for their people. Okay, so that is the goal for the year and 2022, especially on the last quarter of this year. All right, so one friend of mine was in Canada and he will be going back to the Philippines for good this coming June. So we will talk about the branch out. Okay, so it's a long-term goal. Next is the CTL Meatshop's official website. For now, we are using Facebook as our website to market our business. As you all know, we have a CTL Meatshop Facebook page where you can go there and order to us via online. But my long-term goal is really to have CTL Meatshop official website where you can be able to order stuffs in there, not in Facebook, but in our official website. And that's in development. Thank God. By the end of this year, we will be able to materialize that in the future. Okay. And next, online ordering process via our website, of course. So all you have to do is like ordering food or ordering a Grab, right? So you order a Grab for Jollibee for specific food. Here you will order a meat specific cut, and you're ordering it through our website, and that's the online ordering process, and we'll deliver to your doors. So that is the long-term goal. Okay, so as I have said before, why I really invested so much in this business, it is because of my goal. All right, it's because of my vision for my business. I understand that there's a lot of farms, feed farms, there are alagao farms. There's a lot of piggeries or meat shops in Bacolod. Why I go ahead and venture, knowing there are a lot of giants out there that have their meat shop in place, right? But remember, those people has already been there for like 18 years, for like 12 years, and then they're still there. Okay, so we are still like on our second year or almost second year. Right, we have our anniversary last year, September 30th last year. So we are still in the middle of 1.5 year old. Okay, so these are my long-term goals. And next, we would like to be the first ever meat shop to accept cryptocurrency as a mode of payment in the future, right? Not right now, but in the future. So just imagine 5 to 10 years from now, um, I know cryptocurrency will boom like a, right? Sorry for my word, but that is the future. Okay. So those debit cards, those credit cards, they will be gone. I'm not saying it's true, but according to my research and according to the people that I've talked in the Cayman Islands and according to the people in the bank that I've known over the years, cryptocurrency will dominate the world. Okay, so if you go through the trend, if you go through technology, if you go along with the technology, you will be able to put your business up there. All right. So just imagine you have a crypto wallet, you have a Ethereum, you have a Bitcoin, or whatever. All right. So whatever cryptocurrency that may arise in the future that is legit, all right, that is in the market, all right, in the stock market. So we would be able to find a way to create a cryptocurrency as a mode of payment in the future, right? So that is for a long-term goal. So if you have this goal in mind, of course, it's not just like basta-basta lang, all right? So it is a matter of time, effort, and continued research and continued feasibility studies over the years. Not only feasibility study is not only done in the beginning of the business, but you need also to do still a feasibility study even if in the middle of your business operations. Why? Because you already have the information you before starting, compared before starting the business, right? So you created a feasibility study with the information you got from other sources. Now you create a feasibility study with the information you have experienced personally and try to use that to accelerate your business moving forward, right? So I understand that we're only focused on the meat shop, but it is also true to any kind of business that you want to endeavor in the future. All right, any kind of business, coffee shop, anything, whatever online products that you want to sell, any business trend that you want to go to, if you have a set of goals in mind, a long-term goals, and you find out the sustainable things that you need to do to sustain your business, you will get to where you want it to be. And you will experience the fifth advantage of being an entrepreneur is to have that vacation that you've always wanted because you already have the system in place in the future. You already have the people who can run your business. You already hired people that is that has a good record. All right, indeed, they will not attempt to, all right, to give a threat to your employees, to other employees, especially to your family. So those are the things that I would like to stress with you guys, and I would like to let you know that um, having a business is, to be honest, is difficult. All right. So it takes a lot of effort on our side, financial, time, effort, and dealing with people almost every day, and dealing with your employees almost every day. Because there will come a time that your employees will see um, how the meat shop is doing, how the business is doing. They will know if you're earning or not because they are your frontliners. If there's no customers coming in almost every day, they know that you don't have an income for that specific day. And they will be worried if babayaran ba kami ni boss or do we will receive our salary. Okay. So those are the things that we have to develop as a skill to be a people person. You have to learn to talk to somebody. All right. And also one thing that I've learned with Joanne is uh, having these conversations almost every day. It helped me a lot, right? It helped me to talk to people. It helped me to deal with people. It helped me to talk out and de-escalate issues, all right, presented in front of me. So those are the things that we have to learn along the way, okay? I know and I understand that some of you um, uh, don't have yet don't have yet the that drive, all right, to start a business. Some of you will say, ah, wala pang kwarta, all right, for example, I don't have a capital yet. But there will always be a perfect time. There will always be this specific factor that will drive you to do the specific thing, all right? In my experience, I really, really wanted to be a CMA. And I've been there in the Cayman Islands for almost 10 years just to reach that first requirement. You must have a 10 years experience, financial experience, for you to be able to get that CMA certification exam. All right. So why did I stop? I might, I might in the future, but what if this business grows exponentially? What if this business will have branches all over Negros, or not only all over Negros, but all over the Philippines? Who knows, right? Time will tell. But I have this set of goals in line for me to make sure that I am in track. All right. So I think that's it. And I hope that you have learned something out of that. And if you have any questions, just don't hesitate to ask me. So this is the time for you to be able to ask me any questions about the business or anything. Yeah.
Thank you, Pao. Thank you for the inspiring story that you have shared with us. I think, and I am sure that some, if not all of my students, of our students, actually this is a mix of about three sections, Pao. That's why it's huge. That's why it's 100, more than 100. It's because it's like three different sections. And with me, actually, is one also of the teachers who's handling also the other section. Her name is Mary May Nawanaw. But before I give you Miss Nawanaw, I'd like first to ask the group, do you have questions, guys? Ay, nahuya how? Nahuya ang students how? Anyone? May question? Kung hindi nyo mahambal, you can
You can type
actually,
it. You can actually type it
yeah,
in and we can read it and then
right. We can ask you to just put it on the chat box and then I can read it out for
yeah,
Paolo also.
Joanne will be the one to ask it for you.
Yeah.
If you have any questions about Cayman Islands or,
How to
or
get there?
get there. All right. How did I end up in the Caymans or something like that? And is it true that the Pirates is in the Caribbean or something like that? Anything under the sun, just what me and Joanne has been doing before during our BPO days, you know? Those are the topics that we've been talking about.
Anyone? Makipos kid how? Are you guys already starving? Guys, do you still hear us? Because you're very quiet. There is one that's on the chat box. Can you tell me more about cryptocurrency work? Wow, they're more interested in cryptocurrency.
Hey, can you hear me? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, cryptocurrency. It's a vast topic. What do you know? What do you want to know exactly about cryptocurrency? If you're asking if it will be a trend in the future, of course it will be a trend in the future. Why did I say that? First of all, um, you have to follow people that are a driving trend. All right, you have to follow people that will drive the market crazy. For example, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, right? People that have power to affect the stock market. If they say in the Twitter that Bitcoin sucks, right? Bitcoin price will plummet. I guarantee you that 100%. Okay, if you follow those people. But the thing is, cryptocurrency is a decentralized um, idea. All right, so even the government cannot touch cryptocurrency. Right, it is driven by people, community. The price is driven, right, by the community on how they foresee the cryptocurrency's price during that time. And who are those people that would create an impact to the price of cryptocurrency? Those are the big names in the business industries. If you don't have those information about those people, all you have to do is to Google those people that just let's just say top 10 people in the world. All right. Google those names, follow them in Twitter or whatever, in Facebook or whatever. Some of them have no Facebook because they hate Facebook, especially Elon Musk. He don't have a Facebook. Presidents, okay. So follow those people. Try to see the trends. If you don't have an experience in trading in stock market, I would suggest to first try to gain information about stock market, anything that you want to endeavor, anything that you want to join, anything that you want to pursue. You have to learn first, do your research. Everything, all the information is in the mid, is in the tip of our finger. All you have to do is to Google it, and then just to make sure that you have those information before you endeavor in a certain thing, especially in the stock market, because it's no joke. All right, you can invest 100,000 pesos and you'll lose the 100,000 pesos in a matter of minutes or even seconds if you don't have the right equipment, the right knowledge to endeavor in that specific battlefield. Okay, so that is the advice that I have for you, not only in cryptocurrency but in stock market and anything. All right, so there is a forecast that there will be, I'm not sure if it's true, but I'm trying to still read some articles, still want to read some interviews. I already have I've seen a couple of interviews about a market as a next market crash. So when you say next market crash, the stock market will crash. All right. So if you predict that, it will help you gain a lot of money if you predict it right. A lot of money and uh, a vast fortune in the future. But again, you have to have a capital, and you need to have the right knowledge, and you need to have the right people or the right information, because there's a lot of things in the internet that is not true, right? So even though I said that there's a possible next market crash, because history says so. Every after pandemic, couple years after that, there will always be a market crash. Not a significant market crash, but there will always be a slight crash in the market. Okay, so all you have to do is to make sure you've done your research if you want to endeavor in the stock market. Sir, do you believe that every successful people came from tragic past? If I believe every successful people came from tragic past, almost uh, not 100%, but because if you have a tragic past, you have a driving factors. Because just like with me, All right. So I have this goal in mind. I have this goal in mind. I really wanted to be a same way. So what is the driving factor that drives me to become an entrepreneur? Of course, the pandemic, uncertainty of the future. So if you have a tragic past, for example, for your question, if I believe that every successful people came from tragic past. So when you say every successful people, there are successful people that they just inherit their success from their parents. There are successful people that they copied the ideas from other people, like Facebook. There are ideas that was being copied and it made them successful in the future. And of course, there are also a couple of people, or just a lot of peoples. There's a lot of example that came from rags to riches. Because poverty, I tell you, poverty is the best driving force to become successful. Why? Because if you experience poverty, all right, and if you want to have a family in the future, do you want your children to experience the same um, poverty that you've experienced during a specific time of your life? No, right? So you will need to find a way to better your life, not to become a very successful person, but on the other hand, elevate your way of living. That's how I say it. Okay, because success is not only monetary. Success is satisfaction. Success is happiness in life. Success is not having all the material things you have in this world. Success is to see your children prosper. Success is to see your children well protected, right? Insurance. Success is to see your children grow, to see their achievements, that you're there during their graduation, you're there during their downs and ups, and you're there almost every single day of their life. And that is also one of my driving factors. I have three beautiful children, and I wanted to be there for them. And that's the reason why I wanted to be an entrepreneur, because I wanted to attain that specific goal in the future, to have in control of my time. For now, I understand I don't have any control of my time. I still have problems with my business. I still have to make sure that it will it will continue. I need to find a way and things to be able to grow my business. I have my long-term goals on the right and have my dilemmas on the left. How can I bridge them to make my business grow? So that is the things that I've been doing right now. Good morning, sir. If someone wanted to get into your field, what would you recommend they learn first? What field? CMA, management accountant, economics. So if someone would like to get into my field, what do you mean by that?
Or
By
you could elaborate more.
or
But Pao, there's another question that I think you've missed.
oh,
Let me try to scroll up a little bit. I think she's asking about. Oh, hold on, I lost it also. Let me just. Okay. It was from Miss Gonzalez.
oh yeah. Please, sir, may I know what have been your worst significant failures and what did you? Okay. My significant failures. I think um, one is I was not um, hired as a consultant in um, one of the companies in the Cayman Islands. All right, consultant. That's a government job. All right. So here's the thing. I treat it as a failure because I was not able to prepare for it. Okay. So there is an opportunity in the Cayman Islands to work in the government, for the government, for the Queen, because Cayman is under the Queen. It's the jurisdiction of the Queen, Cayman Islands, West Indies. Okay, so I think I shared this one with Joanne. I think that was like 8 years ago. I'm not sure if you remember. I have this interview and I have this opportunity, all right, to prove that I'm the right candidate for the specific job. So I know that the job is feasible. I can do it. And I know that um, it is indeed the right job for me. And the job is a combined expertise in economics and finance. So I have a degree in economics and I have a degree in finance. And knowing Cayman Islands, the government of the Cayman Islands works this way. All right. The people in the Cayman Islands are called Caymanians. All right. So the Caymanians, if there's a job opening, most especially in the government, if there's a job opening, the government should hire the Caymanian first before the locals. They will not hire Caymanian if there is somebody who is more qualified to do the job. Okay, so here's the thing. The applicant is only 4 of us, and two Caymanians, 1 is American, and 1 me, a Filipino. So I was confident. We have an exam. We have, I think that was 3 examinations. We all passed the examination, and the thing is, why I consider this as a significant failure in my side, in my part, is because I was not able to prepare well enough for the job interview. All right. So the job, okay. So I was the blackout lang ako. All right. So it was indeed a very common question, and the question was, and it is true. It is true. It is happening. And the question is, why should we not hire you? It's it's a very simple question. Why should we not hire you? So I encountered that question for the first time in my life, for the first time in my 26 years of experience. Because I'm maybe that was like 26 years old, 27 years old during that time. It was my first question that I I uh, I received from interviewer, and I blacked out for a couple of seconds, not minutes, but I blacked out. And I don't know what I thought. I don't know what I answered, but it's a learning process. It's a learning curve for me, and for me, it's a significant failure. Okay, even though you have this confidence, all right, and you were not able to prepare. Confidence and preparation is 2 separate things. Okay, so what did I learn from it? Okay, so in every endeavor, in every job interviews, in everything that you wanted to endeavor in life, preparation is the key to success. Right? Whatever preparation that you need to do, research about the company, research about the job, research about the people who will do the interview for you, research about anything that you can grasp on for you to have an advantage. For me, that is a significant learning curve for me. And after that, I bet you, I've studied any single questions, possible HR questions in the internet. I almost memorized all of them during that time. After that, after I did not get the job, and I said, "Oh my God, those are the things that I've put for granted during college days." In our English 1, English 2, there we have a mock interview. We just laugh at it because the questions is very easy or something like that. But I haven't experienced that specific question. I know that specific question has been there for years. Why I was not able to prepare for it? Because I am not researching. I'm not reading. As I've said, right now, with the information age, all of the information is at the tip of our fingertips. All we have to do is to research, type it, everything that you, all the things that you don't know, just ask Google. Make Google as your best friend. That's it. And one way or another, you might not use it right now, but you might use it. It might come handy in the future. That's the answer to my question for Miss Gonzalez Stephanie. And what
You,
else?
Pao. The next one that was asking to you about the field, what she meant was uh, the economics field and how did you come to learn about cryptocurrency?
Okay, so good morning. If someone wanted to get into your economics, what would you recommend they learn first? Okay, So first and foremost, if you wanted to endeavor into economics, um, all you have to do is first to have a degree in economics, but it is not really a driving factor, a good driving factor, because even if you're not an economist, you can still have a good knowledge about the economy. You can still have a good knowledge about how things work, the demand, the law of demand and supply, the supply and demand. There's a lot of laws in economics that you can learn in, in the internet. You don't need to go to school and study economics to understand economics, because every day is economics. All right. So that's one thing. So that is something that I recommend you to learn, not only being an economist, not only to have an economics field, but to be able to read a lot of articles about economics, because economics is a way of life. Um, um, I would suggest to try to read Economics Digest. You can search that in Google. There's a lot of articles in Economics Digest that you can learn a lot about economics. I know it is from other countries, but it is also applicable in the Philippines. In Canada, in US, there's a lot of articles about economic situations, economic findings, economic progressions in their country. And if you read those articles, there's a lot of things that you can learn, even if you're not an economics major. So that's one thing that I recommend. Research, read, not read anything, but read something that is related to the thing that you wanted to learn. Okay, so that's how it is. All right, so that's what I wanted you to, I wanted to recommend to you to learn, is to learn anything under the sun about economics. Okay, and cryptocurrency. I'm not. I did not start cryptocurrency as a good trader or a good cryptocurrency expert. Okay, I learned from people. Okay, I learned from different people. I subscribe. I have a daily email from Mr. Ong, Mr. Bob Ong, and then I always listen to the talks, TEDx talks about um, any economics topic, cryptocurrency topics. There's a lot of talks in TEDx that you can watch in YouTube. And there's a lot of articles about cryptocurrency and basics of trading. All right, the things you need to learn before you endeavor going into stock market. All right, so that the factors that can affect their success in the future. Okay, because there's a lot of people who have this idea that I had to quit work and become a full-time trader. And I tell you honestly, guys, 70 to 80% of those people fail. Why? Because being a trader or being a stock trader or a day trader will not guarantee you success. Okay, I have this 5% rule that I've learned in my stock journey, that having 5% income, all right, or 5% earnings out of your trade is best. Why? Because, for example, if you have 10 trades, 5 of those trades is lost and 5 of those trades is win. All right. So you lost 50% of your trades, but on your next 5 trades, you win 55%. You have 5% win rate. Okay. So that's a big factor that you have to learn. There's a 5% rule in internet that you can read about in YouTube and everything like that. If you want to learn about stock market, there's a lot of rules in stock market, but you have to filter all of them that is to your ability um, to to do the stock market ability, which means the level of capital that you want to invest, and the level of money that you want to lose. All right. So one thing that I would like to tell you is this: if you want to endeavor in stock market, you have to invest the money that you are willing to lose. That's it. Because if you're willing to lose that money, you are learning along the way. Why? Because if that's your life savings, all right, every time you have a loss, you're getting worried. Your judgment, your judgment has been clouded. You're driven by emotions. All right. You're not using your mind anymore. Okay. You're not looking at the indicators anymore. All right. Because you're worried. That's your life savings. But if you try to do a trial and error, invest a couple of thousands in stock market, try day trading or crypto trading, or use Binance for that matter, to invest in cryptocurrency, try a certain money, invest a certain money that you want, or not want, but you are willing to lose. Because if you're willing to lose that money, along the way in your journey, you're learning from it. Oh, this is not the right system. Oh, this is the good system. All right. So that's my suggestion, and that's my answer to that question.
Thank
Next,
you, Pao. I think there's a lot more questions, but we'll go with the last one from Lindell.
I
Are
will
you
go.
seeing it?
Yes. In your own perspective, what do you think the type of business that should allow fresh graduate to work in their company? Because a lot of businesses requires experiences, which makes fresh grads having a hard time to gain jobs. Okay, it is not your problem. Tell you honestly, being a fresh graduate is not your problem. It is the society's problem right now. Okay, to have a specific standard on a specific work in their company. If you have a LinkedIn, I would suggest you guys create a LinkedIn, because the LinkedIn is for everybody. If you have a LinkedIn account, try to connect with people, try to connect with HR managers, try to connect with people that has positions, because they post. LinkedIn is like a Facebook for professionals. All right, so you can read a lot of things there, and a lot of ideas from HR managers that says experience doesn't matter. Okay, so you see here, because a lot of businesses requires experiences, which makes fresh graduates having a hard time to gain jobs. And that's right, it is true in the Philippines. Even as a security guard, you need to be a college graduate. I'm not sure if it's true, but I read that somewhere that you need to have a college degree to become a security guard, to become a cashier. Okay, in the Cayman Islands, I will go back to the Cayman Islands. All right, the teller, the bank teller, okay, that is assisting you in front in the deposit area. Those kids are first year students. They are working in the bank during summertime. Nobody is there at the back of them saying, "Oh, that's not, oh, that's wrong. Oh, you need to do this. You need to do this." No, they are regular employees. Or not regular, because they're just working during summertime. But you think that they are regular employees because they they dress all the same. They work banking jobs, and you'll never know that they are just first year high school students. Why? Because the government is preparing them for the future. And that is not something that we have here in the Philippines. Yes, we have OJT, but we have to spend a lot of money for OJT, to have an OJT. Unlike in other countries, they invest more in trainings, in OJTs, and all you have to do as a student, you have to choose a company, go there, apply for OJT, and they don't have the guts to say no, because that is a plus for them. That is the government mandate. You need to hire local Caymanians, right? Local high school students to work in your company for you to be able to have a work permit approved for some of your key employees. So you see the difference? The government is imposing something on the businesses in the Cayman Islands for them to be able to create opportunity, equal opportunity among other employees or among other applicants. So that is not your problem of being a fresh graduate. That is not your problem. Okay, that's a problem of our society right now. Okay, so I'm not sure when that status quo will change, but we hope for a good leadership in the future that would see the specific problem and would find a way to fix that problem. Because as you as you all know, there's a lot of fresh graduates that goes and become an OFW. They study this specific course and they work specific job outside the country. It's sad. It's so sad. So what I can give you as a guiding factor is to just focus on your craft. Okay, if you're a fresh business management graduate, um, try and try to find a company that will accept you, because not all of the companies don't accept fresh graduate. There's a couple, not all. There's a couple of companies that accept um, fresh graduates. Okay, so all you have to do is to find your way in. Okay, because we don't have the privilege of the government backing us up. We don't have the privilege of the government finding a work for us, unlike Cayman Islands. Cayman Islands, their government is trying to find a work for the locals. That's why the locals are batugan. Okay, sorry for the word, but they don't they don't feel to have a degree. Why? Because they can work anywhere they want. That's also a problem, a social problem that the government is creating. Okay, so there will always be a two sides of the coin. There's always be an advantage. There will always be a disadvantage of a specific decision and processes that the government is doing in their country, and that's where economics goes in. If you know and understand how the system works, you will see the future problems of the economy. And because these employees got the job easily, they will not perform very well in the company compared to the people who bust their ass out, go through interviews, go to series of examination, have to provide experience to get in. All right. And of course, if I'm a business owner, I will choose this person to have a lot of experience, have a good credentials than the local K-minus. But we don't have we can't do anything because the government will not let us hire this person if we don't have this person. Because you can only hire 50% expatriate workers and 50% local. 50-50. So if your staffing is 60% expat and 40% local, the government will question you. That is not true in the Philippines. And as I've said, it's not your problem. All you have to do is to find ways until such thing happen in our society that the government will see that specific problem and the cost. If they see a lot of graduates going out and taking other jobs aside from the 4 years course they have studied, it's very saddening. All right, some people will be lucky. All right, I have a couple of people who knows that are nurses. All right, and they work as a nanny, and they make it as a stepping stone to pursue their career in that specific country. That's true. That's true in other countries. It's not just a hearsay. There are doctors who will just go outside the country for them to be able to practice their profession. But before they do so, they have to go through specific things for them to be able to do that job that they really, really wanted. So again, it is not their problem of being a fresh graduate. First, all you have to do is to graduate. That's it. Do your best, have a degree, and go out there, find somebody, a company that will give importance to you. It's not about your experience. It's your willingness to learn. All right. So it still falls down in the interview. But as I've said, if you always try to research, read questions and answers about specific problems in the interview, real life interview questions, you will definitely encounter those questions in the future. And when you encounter that, you have an edge, right? And then when you answer interviews, just be yourself. If you don't know the answer, just tell them you don't know. That's it. You just have to be honest. Okay. You don't have that experience to answer that question. But if I do, I will gladly answer that. And if you give me a chance, all right, to work with this company, I will not only answer that questions in the future, but I will do the task that is on hand. All right. So I think I answer. I think that's my answer for that question, Lendl. Is there any questions, guys?
I think, Pao, thank you very much, Pao. I think there are no more questions in the chat box, and I think you have answered each question so well. So thank you very much for sharing the learnings that you've been through, the things that you think the kids would get from you, and that they could use, in the future as they graduate. But at this moment, let me also try to introduce to you one of my co-teachers, Miss Mary May Nawano. She's one of the persons in charge in another section C45, I think. And she will try to deliver your certificate.
Thank you.
Miss May.
All right. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sir Villanueva. Thank you for a very informative and a very inspiring story of yours. And thank you also for sharing your best practices and operating your business while in the midst of this global pandemic. And at this point, I would like to present the certificate of appreciation. Wait, ano lang yun, Joanne. Still sharing. All right. So again, at this point, I would like to present the certificate of appreciation to Mr. Paulo Roberto P. Villanueva for the time and effort shared with the graduating students of College in Accountancy, Business and Computer Studies as a speaker for starting up a business webinar, given this 11th day of February 2 of this year, 2022, at the University of Negros Occidental, Recoletos. This will be signed by Ms. Joanne, our program head, Ms. Joanne Sakian, and also our Dean, Grace Lupena. And also, before we end, of course, our webinar this morning, let's end with a prayer. Everyone, let us put ourselves in the most holy presence of God. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, in the name of Lord Jesus, we thank you for allowing us to gather today and for the new opportunity to learn from our speaker this morning. As we close this webinar, we want to honor you and praise you, Lord God. May you continue to guide us and bless us, O Lord God, as we say, glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. Saint Augustine, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. So thank you again, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Paulo Villanueva. Again, all our students no, sa amon nga practicum. Thank you, everyone, for joining this morning. Keep safe and enjoy your lunch. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you, Pao. Till
Thank
next
you, sir.
time. See you soon.
Thank you, miss.
Miss.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye. Thank you, miss. Thank you, sir.
All right, Joe. Thank you.